something bristly, something spooky, something gouache, something bluey. Ugh. Don't you hate it when the online rhyming dictionary fails you? Hi, I'm Irene, and I'm easily perturbed. That's right, sometimes I wish I'd gone with my first instinct and called this channel The Annoyed Artist. Before getting into the meat of this video, here are a few new items for the studio. A mini art haul of sorts. This is a silver-white 1-inch stroke brush. I understand it's available in 2 other sizes, a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch. This is a line I haven't heard much about. Silver black velvet, yes. Silver white, no. Silver white's hairs are a synthetic sable, and this particular brush is my first from the Silver Brush Limited brand. It's actually one of my largest brushes, and I'm eager to use it for washes and background work. Although there will likely be another brush video sometime in the future, I wanted to quickly show how this one fits in my current lineup of flats. Aren't they pretty? I should do this more often. Just lay out my brushes to ogle and fondle, then feel slightly weirded out and tell myself to never do it again. Next is the Mystical Ephemera sticker book. You have to say it like that because of the exclamation mark. It wasn't my idea. This takes a couple of minutes, so if miniature spooky images creep you out, simply skip ahead. Personally, I'm in Halloween anticipation mode. Just the other night, producer Mike and I wandered through Michael's craft store, checking out their autumnal merchandise. From floral wreaths and arrangements to "It's fall, y'all" throw pillows to ghastly gothic home decor. We ended up buying a scented candle at half price. But what's really got me excited is that I found an old Starbucks gift card from last December buried in my purse. I'm so glad I didn't immediately run out and spend it on a caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino. No, I'm saving that puppy for the onset of PSL season. For those who don't speak the language, PSL is short for pumpkin spice latte. As a fall lover, that's when I like to indulge in something sweet, hot, and gourd-licious. I've heard conflicting reports, but it sounds like Starbucks' fall menu for 2023 will appear on either the 24th or the 26th of August. I enjoy beverages from Starbucks, but I'm not necessarily loyal to the brand. We also have Dutch Brothers as well as a number of smaller coffee spots. It's just not something we treat ourselves to unless we have a gift card. But that hasn't stopped me from getting my not yet fall freak on by playing autumnal ambiance videos filled with falling leaves, glowing fireplaces, and the sounds of brewing hot beverages. Oh, and thumbing through the Mystical Ephemera sticker book. This is from Peter Popper Press. I'm not familiar with them, but I understand they're a small business. For the most part, they did a good job of assembling and organizing this volume. But I'm going to nitpick because there are probably about a dozen pages that could have some people wondering, what's mystical about this? Things like butterflies, flowers, labels, geese. Just a heads up in case you're considering purchasing. Personally, I can use those, so I'm not too miffed over it. Now I'm revved up for some collage fun. Soon, I hope. Never mind that I told producer Mike I had enough gouache. He insisted I give M. Graham a spin. I'm sure it's a high-quality set of professional-grade paints. I have quite a few M-gram watercolors, after all, and they are fabulous. But because I already have tubes of Holbein and Da Vinci, I wasn't able to fit these M-gram paints in the new palette, which you'll see in a moment. So, along with the silver white brush and the sticker book, you won't see these in action until a later date. For now, just know that these are 15 milliliter tubes, and the colors included are azo yellow, naphthol red, cobalt blue, titanium white, and ivory black. Lastly, for this art haul segment, is the Mijello Fusion 33 plastic paint palette. I've been using one of these for my set of 34 Mijello Mission Gold Pure Pigment watercolors. Well, sans the white, making that set a perfect fit for this palette's 33 paint wells. I love it and wanted to see if it could work for gouache. Although there's an attached rubber gasket, I don't rely on it to be airtight, so the goal wasn't to keep the paints wet, only to have the colors arranged, ready to reactivate or to be augmented with fresh paint. I hope the generous size of the wells would work well to that purpose. I'm a little distracted at the moment because I'm still thinking about the latest video from Les Frenchies. They took a dinner cruise on what appeared to be a canal boat. Of course, being foodies, they showed and described each course in detail while floating along the Seine River. It looked absolutely delightful. The closest I've come to something like that was riding the Mark Twain riverboat on Disneyland's Rivers of America. Without the food and drinks, of course. But it sounds like the Disney parks are coming around to serving alcohol. So I say slap a bar on the Mark Twain riverboat, inside the enchanted tiki room, and next to the Pirates of the Caribbean queue line. With all the time spent at those spots, a serving or two of refreshing grog would have helped me out. A brand new palette, all clean and shiny. This doesn't happen that often, so I reveled in the moment. Thinking ahead, I'd already prepared a sheet of watercolor paper for the swatchings to come. If I'd been thinking, I would have flipped the tray around, because that's the orientation I prefer. But it's not a big deal. In the top row, I placed the colors from Holbein's basic 12-color set. The pours are a tad stingy there. Those tubes are only 5 mils, so I guess I was trying to be frugal. Something that struck me as curious. It's been a couple of weeks now, and the paints are all dry, as I expected them to be, but only a few clumps from the top row crumbled and detached. That did not happen with any of the pours from Holbein's autumn set on the middle row or from Da Vinci on the bottom row. For swatching duty, I chose a number 10 flat from Princeton's Select series. A bigger brush would have been pointless, as I wasn't going to showcase wash effects. Unlike with watercolors, glazing and transparency aren't things with gouache. I mean, sure, some colors aren't as opaque as others, and you can achieve transparency by adding lots of water. But that's not why I use this medium. All I really need to see on my gouache swatch chart is mass tone. Mass tone. Sounds like a band name. Let's hear it for Gilda Gouache and the Mass Tones. With a retro name like that, they'd perform covers of songs such as Yellow Rose of Texas, Little Red Rooster, My Blue Heaven, Greensleeves, Charlie Brown, Bye Bye Blackbird, so on and so forth. Speaking of cover bands, I've actually listened to a lot of PMJ. postmodern jukebox, but they specialize in taking modern songs and giving them a retro feel, such as their 20s spin on Bad Romance, 40s-esque Titanium, the 50s flavored Roar and Closer, and the 60s styled Shake It Off and Ocean Avenue. Yeah, I can recognize a popular tune here and there, but my childhood years were the 70s, so I don't pretend to be up on current music. The point is, if any of those tunes aren't ringing your bell, I won't judge. But if I hear a grown adult asking, "Who are the Beatles?" one more time, I can't promise not to wig out. That top row is filled with bright and intense colors from Holbein's basic color set. They remind me a lot of the floating bubbles I wake up to after dozing off while editing these videos. You know, bubbles. The ones that bounce against each other from one corner of the monitor to the other. Don't tell me I'm the only person still using that screensaver. By the way, we've got a pushy squirrel in our backyard. He's been hanging out for a few weeks. Normally, we toss out some nuts in the morning, and by noon they're all gone, with minimal wildlife interaction. Well, I guess I wasn't quick enough today. Feeling extra groggy, I spent a long time over sweet-hot caffeinated elixir. Then I heard a tap, tap, tap. And there he was at the sliding glass door, as if saying, "Are you guys open yet?" Okay, squirrel, I've still got eye boogers and heat miser hair. Just back off. Of course, I felt guilty for such thoughts and quickly threw out twice the usual nuts. The middle row consists of Holbein's Autumn Iridori colors. While I currently don't have the other seasons, I've seen images online, and this autumn strikes me as the best curated set of the entire Iridori series. It's totally giving me fall vibes. Red cider apples, warm-colored leaves, post-harvest corn stalks, ghoulish green potions, spiced blueberry pie, piles of pumpkins, and late-season foliage. Oh, and they can call the fifth from the left elm green all they want, but in my head, that particular shade is what it should have been called in the first place: zombie green. One of my getting ready for fall rituals is indulging in scary stories. Since I'm an admirer of Mike Flanagan's works, I figured I should cross his streaming series, Midnight Club, off the list. So after mostly ignoring it on Netflix for a whole year, I finally watched all 10 episodes. My favorite thing about it was the big Queen Anne Victorian house. Not a real place, only CGI exteriors and set interiors. Unfortunately, I didn't care much for the rest, and can't recommend it. Usually, if I can get through Flanagan's sometimes painfully long monologues, everything else is golden. But I had issues with Midnight Club's story, characters, and, in a few cases, the acting. That said, there are a couple of episodes I consider highlights of the series. Number 7, titled Anya, and number 8, Road to Nowhere. I would watch those again, but probably not the rest. The good news is that Flanagan has a new series coming to Netflix this October, The Fall of the House of Usher. Can that be right? This October? I'm so excited. Not only is it a new horror series, but one that's based on works by Edgar Allan Poe. Okay, loosely based, but I'll take what I can get. The bottom row is mostly the Da Vinci brand. By this point, impatience was getting the better of me, so with a few colors, I added a teensy bit of water to make them easier to apply. That wasn't a smart move because that creates doubt about if that's the sole reason why some of those appear less opaque. Swatching is well and good, but first impressions can change. So I'm glad I have the earlier swatches shown in a previous video to compare. And it seems to me that some of Da Vinci's gouache colors are less opaque than their Holbein equivalents, particularly the blues shown here. In that previous video, I also mentioned my plan to experiment with adding just a touch of white, because with how pigmented these paints are, I expect that could bring them to full opacity without losing much saturation. Am I speaking out of my behind? That's entirely possible. Hopefully we'll find out once I complete an actual painting with them. For now, based on my limited experience, I still prefer Holbein's gouache. Some of Da Vinci's colors have a slight gooey quality, and there are times when Da Vinci's gouache lacks the reliably matte finish I get with Holbein. Just some early observations that may or may not affect results in future paintings. There's something very satisfying about this sort of activity. Sure, there's the practical element, learning how your paints lay down and creating a useful reference chart. At the same time, it feels a lot like playing. I'll share a secret with you. My dream house would have a huge playroom filled with children's books, Legos, doll houses, action figures, even those Fisher-Price toy sets. All for me. There's got to be a term for that because I can't be the only one. Something like adult childhood compensation. Hey, I've said it before. I'm not above using this channel as a tool for working through my issues. I'm happy to share this haul and swatch session. Thanks for watching and hanging in until the end. That's commitment. And I don't mean to a state psychiatric hospital. As long as you don't tell them about that whole toy hoarding thing. Until next time, remember to savor the special phenomenon that occurs this time of year, autumnal anticipation. And stay artsy, my friends.